Hello and welcome to day 2 of the Champion of Champions. I'm delighted as ever to be joined by Ken Doherty. And Ken, yesterday, Monday's action was pretty special.
It was very special. Jimmy White, of course, playing Neil Robertson. Didn't get off to a great start. Neil Robertson, though, was in flying form. 2 centuries, first 2 frames. Ended up beating Jimmy 4-0. And then, of course, we had the classic match, Ding Junhui against John Higgins. Went right to the wire, 4-3 for Ding. And then, even in the evening time, the Robertson Ding final was fantastic as well. Lots of drama.
So tense. If you didn't see it, here's everything you need to catch up on.
888 Sport Champion of Champions 2020 began with a storm, but what would prevail when 2 forces of Mother Nature collided? A whirlwind from Tooting or a thunder from down under? Well, Neil Robertson was unstoppable, beating Jimmy White 4-0. The second match saw a milestone achieved as John Higgins became only the second player to occur 800 career centuries. The first was Ronnie O'Sullivan. But that didn't stop 3-time UK champion Ding Junhui, who, against the odds from 2-0 down, won 4 of the last 5 frames to win the match 4-3. That brought us to the Group 1 final, featuring the 2 best non-Brits to ever grace the baize, and the first 4 frames were shared, Robertson taking it to 2-all at the mid-session with this fine clearance. Spurred on after the break, Robertson made his 4th century of the day to take the lead for the first time in the match. The thunder from down under, though, was gifting Ding chances, and the Dragon was soon level at 4-all before a close 9th frame was eventually won by Robertson on the black. And the defending champion pushed on from there, eventually winning the match 6-4 to book his place in Friday's semi-final.
Safe to say, Monday's Champion of Champions action delivered like the mailman. And Ken, let's talk about predictions. So yesterday, we said we're going to call match 1, match 2, match 3.
Okay.
So first of all, Jimmy Neil, you called.
Jimmy.
I called Neil. Our survey said.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, well, I've been lodging with Jimmy, so at least the rent hasn't gone up. But anyway, so.
So what's your excuse for the next one? Because it was Ding. It was John Higgins.
Yeah.
John Higgins, you'd possibly say was a favourite.
Yeah.
You went.
Higgins.
I went Ding. Our survey said. Get in.
Yeah, 1-0. 2-0.
Yes.
2-0 to you, okay.
And then in the head-to-head that you were out of, it was Ding. It was Neil. I went Ding. Our survey said. But you know what I mean? It's so good though.
Yeah, it was,
that
yeah.
final.
You've got 2 out of 3, but it was a great final. Yeah, it went really close. There was a lot of drama, a lot of mistakes as well, but a lot of good snooker as well. But it was, in some ways, it's nice to see the mistakes from the players because you know they're human. And for the average, snooker player who's playing in the snooker club, I saw him miss that as well, and I saw him miss this, So everybody can miss under a bit of pressure. And you can tell how much it means to these guys. This is not just another tournament.
Totally.
This is Champion of Champions. This is like a fourth major for these players. So it's very, very important. Neil Robertson, defending champion, he's still hanging on to that cup with one hand. He doesn't want to let it go.
Question, what kind of snooker do you prefer? Do you prefer the big break building that we know he can produce, or do you prefer those battles?
No, listen, you're talking to crafty Ken. I love the battles. I love and particularly when it gets down to the last red and colours. The strategy, the cat and mouse games, trying to trap your opponent, trying to eke out that chance that you can go and win the frame from. So for me, yeah, the centuries are great and great to see 147s and stuff like that. But my favourite part of the game is the strategy on the colours,
Well, yesterday we saw strategy. We also saw a fantastically high break as well. That was in the form of Neil Robertson, and after he qualified for the semi-final, here's what he had to say.
Neil, a strange match in some ways because you were all flowing, some good break building early on, but also at times some perhaps uncharacteristic mistakes. What did you make of it?
Yeah, I think quite early in the season, we're not used to playing two matches in one day. I think the best out of 7 and then followed by a best out of 11, it's quite a lot of snooker to play. And I think at times just probably drifted in and out of concentration. And I made a couple of hundreds in the match and, a couple of other breaks and looked good in amongst the balls. Just allowed maybe some frames to just drag on a little bit. Missed a couple of tricky reds in the middle where I would have killed the frames off, much earlier. And then, I should probably be talking about, winning the match 6-2 really. But Ding fought back well in a lot of the frames. He won a lot of frames on the colours. And I just had to hold my nerve a bit, especially that black at 4 each, where I had to play at a lot of pace to make the white rattle in the jaws. I didn't want to take the chance of just dropping it in and then maybe the white goes in off. So yeah, really pleased with how I finished it off there in the end.
Do you feel the pressure building out there when Ding is coming back the way he was in each of the frames?
Perhaps someone of lesser mentality, it can be pretty frustrating when somebody's winning frames on the black and frames on the colours, but then I won a couple of frames on the black in the match as well. So sort of like swings back and forth, really, the mental momentum shift, I suppose you could say. But yeah, pleased to get through it at the end because that was a good test. Obviously earlier on everything went my way. I just went bang, bang, bang. But Ding, played a lot of really good safety and yeah, so I had to win a little bit different tonight.
You're the defending champion. You're through to the semi-finals. So all about now coming back for the weekend.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, I mean, I've got a great record in this event. I've won it twice, got to semis twice. This is my third semi-final. Well, technically my fifth semi-final here. So yeah, I love this tournament. All the players do. All the players want to win something in the season so they can come back here. And yeah, to be defending champ and get to the semi-finals is a really good defence so far.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Neil.
Cheers, Nick.
Really interesting to see Neil there talk about the fact that even though he won, he feels like he should have won possibly in a different manner.
Yeah. He'd be disappointed because, as I said, there were a few misses in there in the match, and he'll try and sort of iron out a few maybe technical things before he plays again on Friday. But he has such a good record in this tournament. He's won it twice, 5 semi-finals I think now. He loves this tournament, and the final against Trump last season was just impeccable. It was like two boxers going at it, round for round, right till the end, and it was a very high quality final. One of probably the best finals that we've ever seen.
Right, I agree with that. Would you say that when you play someone like Jimmy White, do you think he'd have been in awe of him, even though the fact that it was a one-sided affair, that he's getting to play one of his heroes?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's no doubt about how much respect he showed Jimmy yesterday as well, and Jimmy would have inspired Neil, as a young kid to take up snooker, as he inspired like thousands of others, me included. So, he's been a great servant to the game, a great ambassador, Jimmy, and he's held with the utmost respect from all the players, from the young right up to maybe one of the oldest.
Well, Ken also got the absolute privilege of playing a legend in his sport. That is the sport of table tennis. It was kind of a one-sided affair as well, but here's how it went down. Ah, no, we're falling apart here. 1-3 down. Big point. Oh! Oh! Shot, mate! Left. Yeah. Was it let again, was it? That's more potential like that. Oh, no, double back contact. Oh, yeah. 960. So that is to be continued, and who knows what could happen, Ken? It's all on the... I wish I was playing. I was down here. My legs are shattered today. But good shots in that, even better shots on the baize yesterday. So we're going to talk about the shot of the day.
Yeah.
So we had 4, which you chose and voted for 1, which was, Ken.
Neil Robertson's long brown, fantastic. Fourth frame, long dead straight brown, and typical of Neil Robertson's is cue action, as I spoke about, like gun barrel straight. And he was sort of contemplating, because he wasn't that confident. He was actually looking, maybe, how can I not take this on? But then he said, no, this is a shot I have to take on. And he went full-blooded for it, which you have to do. And he stayed so still on it, dead straight brown, beautifully played, right into the back of the pocket. Class shot.
One thing I've learned, especially talking to someone about angles, is the fact that it's one thing hitting the ball right in the centre. You can be accurate, but when you're trying to put action on the cue ball, that's where you lose accuracy.
Course,
What was he putting on the cue ball at that point?
He wasn't. Well, he actually wasn't. It was because it was a dead straight pot. So sometimes, actually, when you're putting side on the ball, it's actually harder to actually hit it dead straight. You know. So even though I understand what Alan's saying, but most of the players are actually trying to hit the middle of the white and cue straight through the ball. But it is. Alan is right. When you start imparting side, or you put sort of a backspin on it, then your cue action can go a little bit, or if you have to hit it a lot harder. But I think for most of these players, because of these super fine cloths, any little bit of deviation of side can throw the cue ball off. But the most important thing for most snooker players is to try and hit through the middle of the cue ball and try and get that consistency. But that's what Neil did on that particular shot, right through the heart of right in the middle of the white, brown in the middle of the pocket, and he ended up stealing the frame to go 2-2. It was a huge frame, so there was a bit of pressure on that as well, and that's what made that shot so much more special.
And is he thinking about position of the cue ball afterwards, or is it purely pot the brown priority and we'll deal with it afterwards?
Oh no, pot the brown, but also to hold the cue ball right in the middle of the table as well for the blue into the left centre, because he needed blue, pink and black as well. So it was a big shot, and I think not only the sort of how well you cue the ball, but the importance of the frame at the time. So you have to take a lot of things into consideration of the pressure, because you can play extravagant shots and really good shots, but there might not be any pressure on them. So what makes this shot more special is that there was so much pressure on it that he needed brown, blue, pink and black, and he went full-blooded for the brown. He got it and cleared up to win on the black and levelled up at 2-2. So it was a big frame, and actually was quite a little turning point in the match as well.
So that's our first shot of the day from Champion of Champions, but throughout the week we'll be asking you for your favourite 4 shots, and then you to whittle it down to just 1, which we'll then discuss on the table behind us here. Now though, the reason this event is even possible is for a fantastic team behind the scenes, and one of the people at the very top of that pile is Emily Fraser, the MD of Matchroom Multisport, and I got the opportunity to speak to her yesterday. And first of all, that arena looks absolutely incredible, and that's all down to yourself.
Well, obviously we're a big team here, but it's just the tarantula. I keep thinking that it is that pendulum song, but it's just, look, it's different, and that's all we wanted. There's been so much back-to-back snooker. I mean, we've just come off of 21 live days from Championship League snooker. The whole aim of this was to try and get viewers to tune into something a bit different. Obviously, it's great that we've got live snooker on the box, despite the current situation that's happening. But there's just something a bit fruity there. I mean, whether you like it or you hate it, it's a little bit like Marmite. I don't think there's been any sort of digs at it at all, but you tune into ITV4 and you've got snooker in this crazy different design. And to be fair, you know, we've had all the different contractors working on this design, and they've really achieved the vision that kind of had with it. And it's just, we're in this room, it's quite clear, we don't have a crowd.
Yep.
I just fed up with that boxed in design where you're trying to hide everything. We don't need to hide anything. It's quite apparent that we've got all the trussing in here and you know, the backstage personnel as such. And I just quite like that open feel. I love that you've got the practice tables up here. You've got the prez on the studio, and you get the arena feel. You could just, sometimes you have some studios, they could just be somewhere, you know, 50 miles away as such. And it's just nice for it to all be in situ here. I love the design, but obviously I'm very biased about it. It does look like a giant spider. Obviously, we had Halloween recently, and we were doing all of the rehearsals for the lights, and we just sat in here just like, okay, this is definitely Halloween here.
So even as we're speaking now, there's stuff going on in rehearsals. The guys aren't stopping, even though it might be dinner time. But with that in mind, if I flicked into a Radzi.com snooker event, which is your standard traditional snooker event, versus your Matchroom snooker event with the Emily Fraser watermark, what does the second one look like?
Just absolutely madness, I think. It's just kind of what we are. We're different, we're unique, we're a bit young and fresh. That's what I like to think. We bring these new ideas, and don't get me wrong, I watched the boxing fight on Saturday night. Oh, their walk-on was just, I went weak at the knees for it, and I would love to have that kind of walk-on at our shows.
So, final question, if I speak to you on finals day, and you're beaming in your face, you're pumped, why would that be? What will you have done that will make you think we've just smashed that?
All players negative. No, we've smashed the reserves anyway. I just think as long as everyone at home is loving it, everyone's tuning in because they're hearing about it or they're seeing about it on social media, the players are having a good time. That's what we need. We need to make sure the players are happy and they feel comfortable here and they want to play well out there in this arena despite there not being a crowd. It's just that it would have been a great week, some good viewing figures. I can't wait to see some viewing figures through tomorrow. Yeah, I'll be beaming whatever because I've got huge confidence that we're going to absolutely smash us out of the park this week.
Or speak to you in 7 days' time. Thank you to Emily Fraser. Now, Emily Fraser also, I mentioned Matchroom Multisport. One of the sports she also looks after is darts, which is why we just had to challenge the snooker players to see how they get on in the form of 9 darts. 9 darts to score as many points as they can. 2 players have taken it on so far. At the top of the pile is John Higgins with 124. But up next is the man way in the background just practicing there, the world #1, Judd Trump. Can he possibly beat the Wizard of Wishaw? Let's find out.
This is action, yeah.
Right, let's go. Oh, here we go. Oh, disappointed.
What was that?
56. Bullseye first, all downhill after that. 56, 63. What's that? 119. Beginner's luck. That's more like it at the end. 119 plus 15, 134. Here we go. See you later.
Right, Ken, to today's action, 3 matches as ever. First up, Bingham, Trump. We're going to go for predictions again. I did it right yesterday. A lot to hold up today.
Well, you're in the lead at the moment, so two fantastic semi-finals to start with. 2 world champions. Up first, Judd Trump, world #1, who's been in superlative form. Will be disappointed he lost in the final of the Champions League because he was going for Hendry's record, of course, 11 ranking finals. 1 in a row. He didn't achieve that, so he'd be disappointed, but he'll want to put this right. This is a huge tournament. On current form, I'd have to go with Judd Trump.
You see, yesterday I went rogue on 2 of them. I'm going to go rogue again.
Are you really?
I'm going to go for ball run Stuart Bingham. I just think that short format, Judd's won a lot. What's going to happen if Stuart wins the first 2 frames? I'm going to go Bingham. Okay. Next match, Murphy Gilbert.
Murphy Gilbert, well, Sean Murphy's a practice partner of mine, he's a mate of mine, we're in a WhatsApp group, so I'm definitely not going to go against him because he'll give me so much stick, so I definitely have to go with Sean Murphy.
So to be clear, the reason you voted in the past has been lodgings and stick.
Stick, yeah.
2 very important factors in life. So yeah, definitely stick, and I'm going to stick with Sean in that semi-final.
Okay, I'm going to go Gilbert because I think of all the 16 players, he's the most grateful to be here.
I just think whatever I say, you're going to go against me in anyway. So you know what I mean. So that makes sense. So okay. but you're going to make an excuse for it now.
I will, mate, just to caveat it. But I think he's the most excited player to be here. He had to wait until the very final, or the final, of the Championship League snooker to know if he'd gotten there. It was Wilson Judd, so he was guaranteed to be here. And I think that was on Friday. This is Tuesday. He's gone, yes. So he's up for this.
Yeah, you got a case for that because it's happened in the past, hasn't it? You saw Ali Carter getting into the Masters and going all the way to the final when Ronnie O'Sullivan chose not to enter. So yeah, he could have a case of like he's got nothing to lose and could go out, but he's a class player, Dave Gilbert, there's no doubt about that. I think, you know, both semi-finals are going to be very close, and you're going to see some great snooker again. The table yesterday is playing so fast, they're playing absolutely beautiful, and that will suit all four players again today, and I think you're going to see some really good snooker.
So the head-to-head, that means, so you've got Murphy, Trump in the head-to-head, and who takes it?
Well, I don't want to get any stick off our WhatsApp group for the rest of the week, so I'm going to stick with the Irishman, Sean Murphy.
So from my head-to-head, I've got Bingham, I've got Gilbert. I'm going to go ball run, I think, because the ball's going to be in his favour. They call him ball run for a reason. He just walked past there, so it'd be rude not to choose him. So I'm going to go Stuart Bingham for the semi-finals. But Ken, all that's left for us to do is just enjoy the action later on today.
Yeah, and a bit more table tennis.
A bit more table
tennis.
tennis.
You need a bit more practice.
Talking about stick, it has started. Make sure you watch the action on ITV4 as well as on DAZN as well. And if Monday's anything to go by, you won't want to miss Tuesday. Right, let's go and play.